Good morning. Happy Sunday. Bear with me, please. You would not believe that this is the video, the second video. Many of you all who I've previously taken classes with know that I am not the most technical person. However, I do try. Just one moment, one moment, one moment, one moment, one moment. Okay, we should. Okay, that is not what I said, dude. Um, let's go here. Trying to get this set up. Let's start. Hey, we're ready to go. So excited. Okay, so this is my first mini lesson in this class, Style and Editing. And I selected the controversial issue on the split infinitive. Many of you know that I am a former teacher. My teaching style is strategic teaching. That's what I believe in. So this lesson is going to follow some of those patterns of strategic teaching. So the first thing we always do in strategic teaching is to identify our key terms. So the key terms for this particular lesson, we have two. We have infinitives and split infinitives. Now, what is an infinitive? Now I know you all know what an infinitive is. This once again, this is just my teaching style. So we're looking at a definition that I got or looked up in the Urban Dictionary because I try and use sources that we are already familiar with and what we use in this class. So infinitives, we're looking at a basic form of a form of a verb with no reference to a specific tense, person, or subject. So just to re-emphasize, we know that an infinitive does contain a verb. Usually it is preceded by the word to. Doesn't always have to be there, but we know that to signals the beginning of the what? Infinitive. Now, before we dive right into um the topic of split infinitives or the argument or the controversy surrounding split infinitives, it is important to identify Peter M. Neely, who proposed the idea of the split infinitive. Now, I'm not saying he is the first person to verbalize this idea. However, his particular article and his stance on splitting the infinitive caused a great deal of controversy within the linguistic, grammarians, English, or literature communities. So we must identify him first in saying that this is going to be the source or the origin of the confusion when it comes to split infinitive. Now, what I will say is that the idea of splitting the infinitive is more controversial than the Oxford comma, which I didn't think anything could be more controversial than the Oxford comma. Um, the first um, the first authors that we're going to look at who disputed the idea of the split infinitive is Huntsman and Binkley. So Huntsman and Binkley, their journal article is actually called "To Split or Not to Split," referring to the split infinitive controversy, as we would say. The unique thing about their particular article is that I would say it is divided into approximately 3 sessions. The opening of the article has absolutely nothing to do with split infinitives. In fact, it is an apology that is made by Huntsman in response to his words about Black language, which I found very eye-opening, especially since we are discussing Black language in this class. The second portion of the article is when Huntsman and Bingley disputes Neely's ideas. Now, I would like to take it a step further, and before I do that, please allow me to say, I know that we are discouraged in this class from saying that an article is difficult to read in terms of language theories or ideas. This article is not difficult to read in that sense. This article, and forgive me, Doc, I know that we have had conversations about this in the past, but I must give this full disclosure or warning. This article is difficult to read in that it's not so much that they're disputing Neely's theories, but if you read closely and you look at the words, this is a verbal assassination on this man's academic standing and his career. In fact, I will venture to say that I have never seen anything like this. So it's not so much that they are just disputing his idea on the split infinitive, but it goes further than that. In fact, there is a portion in the article in which Huntsman states as he is talking about Neely. Notice I say he is talking about Neely and not talking about the split infinitive, in which he states that I would say further, but in this particular setting, in this publication, it would be wrong. And I was like, wow, can't believe he said that. But moving to Huntsman and Bingley's dispute on the split infinitive. Huntsman goes as far as to say the infinitive, in fact, cannot be split. That is, would never be split by any native speaker. We're going to find out more. For technically speaking, the infinitive consists only of the verb itself, the base form without tense, which may or may not be preceded by to. Now, what does he mean? We know anytime we see an infinitive, we usually see the word to walk, to run, to, whatever verb you want to use. However, what Huntsman is saying is that you cannot split the infinitive, meaning that you cannot use the word to insert an adverb before the verb, if that makes sense. Now, after Huntsman and Bingley dispels Neely's theories and verbally assassinate this man's academic career, his standing, his philosophy, his thoughts. The article ends in two separate phases. What do I mean by that? The editor makes a comment in response to this controversial issue, and then Neely responds to Huntsman and Bingley. Neely acknowledges, hey, I'm not an expert in this field. I understand that I am an outsider. And when he used those words, I understand that I am an outsider. It brings me back to the class that I took, what was it, spring semester, in which it was a rhetoric class, and it was talking about how marginalized groups are it's time, let's say it like that, it is time that we begin to not only read or just acknowledge marginalized rhetorical thinkers, that we must start to come to the table and have some discussions and just be more open and embrace other people's ideas, where in this situation, it appears that Huntsman and Bingley are not open to any new ideas. It is as if they are gatekeepers of grammar. And because Neely has made this public suggestion, or he has theorized publicly that you can split a infinitive, Huntsman and Binkley believes that the English language is being eradicated. Just saying. Peter Neely takes the high road and he says, I should mention that even if I split verb complexes were to become the commonly used form, that should not be taken to mean that splitting would be forbidden. All he's saying is let's just be open to the idea there are new ways of doing things. Um, and we must move forward as an academic community. That's what I took from that. Now, I wanted to learn more about this idea of, well, about this controversy concerning splitting the infinitive. And that's when I came in contact with the author, Tom Chivers, who wrote an article entitled A Mischievous Grammar. And in this particular article, Chivers interviewed Steven Pinker, who is the author of Mind Your Language, the Experimental Psychologist. Now, I was very unfamiliar with Steven Pinker, but apparently he is a leader in the linguistic communities, well known. He's written a lot of books. He's just one of the great thinkers, I would say. And Doc, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that or add to that. So Steven Pinker has some ideas on the split infinitive. Now, this is what he has to say about it. For many years, he avoided it, not because he thought there was anything wrong with it, but because he thought there was a large audience who would see it as an error. But he later decided to come out of the closet, and I love that phrase, out of the closet, as if he is doing something wrong. And please understand that he is not. But he comes out of the closet to help overcome this stupid prejudice. These are my works cited. And for the assignment, after viewing one of the videos below, you're going to write a 200-word response in agreement or disagreement on to split or not to split. Full disclosure, the title of this assignment is actually the title of Huntsman and Binkley's article on to split or not to split. So the first YouTube links are from Grammar Girl because as you all know, we use Grammar Girl a lot in this class, but then I wanted to use someone different, so I used the Grammar Detective. I would encourage everyone, no matter which video you prefer or personality you prefer, that everyone should at least give a listen to what the Grammar Detective has to say. He gives the historical context of splitting the infinitive, and he will tell you, or he states in the video, that splitting the infinitive is not based on English at all, but it is actually based on Latin. And he gives reasons as to why. He also lists prominent authors who split infinitives. And then he also gives examples of split infinitives and tell you why split infinitives can be used for, why they make sense. Now, I'm not by any means asking everyone to agree to split the infinitives. I'm just shedding some insight on splitting the infinitive. Thank you for your time. Happy writing, everyone. Have a great Sunday.